There are times when a deep current stirs within you. It is quiet, subtle, yet certain, like the silent pull of a river's undertow. You find yourself waking at the same hour each night. A sense of weight meets you as you walk into certain rooms. You perceive that something is approaching, though the mind has no language for how it knows. This is not a matter of chance. It is a signal, and only those with a quiet mind can truly feel its resonance. Long before a great river reaches the sea, its course is already shaped by the unseen contours of the earth. Any profound shift starts not with noise, but in stillness. It does not begin with chaos, but in the deep silence that precedes it. Many will not notice, for their attention is cast outward, but those who are inwardly prepared, they perceive it, not with the senses alone, but with their whole being. This is how the journey begins. In this time together, I will share 10 insights drawn from timeless wisdom traditions. These are lessons that do not command, but whisper. They are principles that promise not an escape, but a deep inner transformation. You will come to see why discomfort is not your adversary. You will understand how your surroundings are silently molding you. You will find that true power is born from discipline, not from fleeting motivation. And you will realize that your life doesn't need to be changed. You do. We will venture beyond the surface of popular wellness and into the very heart of self-mastery. These are not merely concepts. They are truths lived moment by those who train not for conflict, but for wholeness. If you can remain present through this sharing, you may understand why this message is finding you now and what it asks of your attention. Welcome. If these words resonate with the truth deep inside you, I invite you to walk this path with us. It is time to begin. For all things, there is a season, and this includes a season of stillness. On any profound journey of self-discovery, there are moments when the cold seems to settle in your very bones, when your spirit feels the strain of yesterday's efforts, and a voice within asks, "What is the purpose of this?" These are not the celebrated moments one associates with clarity or peace, and yet they are the ones that hold the most weight. You may believe growth should feel like momentum, like inspiration, like light, but more often, it feels like nothing is changing. It can feel like being held in a dense fog, questioning every step. This is the sacred darkness where true roots find their hold. A seed buried in the earth does not protest its confinement. It does not demand the sun before its time has come. It dwells in the dark. It allows the weight of the soil to hold it. It absorbs the profound silence. It transforms slowly from within, not out of weakness, but because this is its nature. It is gathering strength for its emergence. Perhaps you find yourself in such a space today. You may feel stagnant, disoriented, or weary from the effort of appearing strong. You might believe something is fundamentally wrong with you. But what if this uncertainty, this quiet slowness, is not an issue to be solved, but a frequency to tune into? Ancient wisdom guides us to honor the winters of our inner life, not to struggle against them, but to use them as a time of deep cultivation. Because every quiet moment, every unremarkable hour where all seems static, is in fact honing you, grounding you, and teaching you the immense power of patience and presence. You are not failing. You are deepening. Roots make no sound as they grow. But when the storms arrive, they will be the reason you stand tall. This is the reason for the practice. This is the reason for the quiet waiting. Pain carries an energy that can convince us that something is broken, that the world is set against us, or that we are being corrected for an unnamed mistake. But this perspective is limiting, and it veils the truth concealed within the challenge itself. Wisdom traditions guide us not to run from our burdens, but to turn and face them. Whatever they may be, heartbreak, failure, fear, or shame, the first instruction is always the same. Seize the struggle, sit with the sensation, breathe into it, observe it without judgment. As you do this, you may realize the pain is not designed to break you. It is trying to illuminate where your grip is still too tight. Perhaps you are clinging to control, to a particular outcome, or to a story of how your life should have been. The friction you feel is a result of your own resistance. The moment you cease to push back, even for a breath, the pain can become a teacher. A true path does not require you to deny the existence of fire. It invites you to walk through it with profound awareness, to feel its heat, and yet to remain connected to your own center. This is not fragility. This is unbreakable inner integrity. The kind of strength that no one else can provide and nothing can diminish. The body strengthens when it meets resistance. The mind clarifies when it finds stillness. The spirit deepens when it allows pain to be fully felt, not bypassed. That is the discipline, to turn inward when it is most difficult and to ask, what is this here to show me about myself? Instead of, why is this happening to me? Transformation does not begin when the feeling subsides. It begins the moment you are no longer afraid of it. This is not a penalty, it is a gateway. And those who learn to walk through it with calm awareness do not just endure the flames. They emerge purer, lighter, and more authentically themselves. The undisciplined mind is a source of constant noise. It yearns for ease, yet it also desires recognition. It avoids discipline, yet it demands results. In one breath, it is paralyzed by a fear of failure. In the next, it cannot bear the quiet of stillness. It is like a boat without a rudder, caught in every passing current, pulling you into chaos. Unless you learn to calmly steer, you will simply be carried along by the waves. This is why self-discipline is essential, not as a way to punish yourself, but as a practice of training the mind. It is a way to say, gently but with conviction, this is my chosen direction, and I will walk it, regardless of whether today's mood agrees. In all paths of wisdom, there is no negotiation with feeling. In rain or in sun, in sorrow or in joy, the practice endures. This is not because the practitioners are unfeeling, but because they understand a core principle. Every time you honor your commitment, especially when it is difficult, you are reclaiming a part of yourself that the restless mind tried to take. A single conscious breath, one mindful movement, one quiet act of integrity. This is how you reclaim your own sovereignty, not through grand pronouncements, but through showing up day after day without needing applause. Discipline does not eradicate the chaos instantly, but it creates a quiet center from which you can witness the noise as it passes. With time, it becomes an internal anchor, a compass that does not spin with every passing emotion. And then something else arises: clarity. Not the clarity of knowing everything, but the deep inner sense of your own true north. You learn to trust your own presence, not because life has become easy, but because you have proven to yourself that you will remain steady even when it is not. Discipline is compassion in action. It is a commitment to your own highest truth, expressed in the simplest of your choices. This is how you cease to be a hostage to your feelings. This is how you become steadfast. In a world saturated with noise, this kind of inner quiet is the ultimate freedom. True practice does not recognize a beginning or an end. There is no boundary between the sacred and the mundane. How you place a cup on a table is a practice. How you close a door is a practice. How you walk, how you listen, how you pour a glass of water. Each action is a perfect mirror, reflecting the state of your inner world. The modern mind tends to compartmentalize existence. There is work and there is rest. There is social time and there is practice time. But true mastery is about dissolving these imagined walls. It is about transforming your entire life into a form of moving awareness. This happens not because your life slows down, but because your attention becomes deeper within it. This is why your direct environment is so profoundly important. Not only the place you inhabit, but how you inhabit it. Is your personal space clear, or is it cluttered? Do your digital engagements foster focus, or do they invite distraction? Is your phone your instrument, or are you an instrument for it? These elements are shaping you far more than you realize. Moment by moment, they establish the foundation of your inner state. One who seeks wisdom treats their space as a sanctuary, not for appearances, but for the cultivation of their own mind. Everything has a home. This is born not of rigid perfectionism, but of deep respect. If you exist in outer disorder, Your inner world will echo that state. If you move with intention and care, your thoughts will begin to align. You do not need a special location to live this way. You can transform your own room into a hall of practice. Your morning can become a sacred ritual. Even the simple act of brushing your teeth, when done with full presence, becomes a powerful form of mindfulness. A truly dedicated person understands this. Mastery is not forged in rare, dramatic experiences. It is shaped by the small things you repeat with intention, especially when there is no one there to see. And the space you cultivate around you will quietly and constantly reflect who you are in the process of becoming. Treat your environment as a wise teacher. Allow it to bring you to sharpness, to guide you, to center you. This is how you embody the practice, not just think about it. This is how the external world begins to align with your internal truth. A person can build empires, break records, and be praised by the world, yet still remain a servant to their own reactive mind. That form of power is often loud, but deeply fragile. It relies on external validation, on conditions being right, on constant victory. But there exists a different quality of strength. It is quieter. It is earned through inner work, and it is impossible to counterfeit. The journey of self-realization is the most intimate of all. There is no external crowd. There is no applause. There is only the clear mirror of your own tendencies, your immediate reactions, and your deepest conditioning. You wake up with a plan and feel the powerful gravity of comfort. You receive a challenge and feel the heat of pride rise up. You make a mistake and feel a flood of justifications to shield your self-image. These are the true inner challenges, and they are masters of finding your points of resistance. Victory on this path looks entirely different. It is choosing to pause when the impulse of anger demands you speak. It is choosing to do the inner work when no one is around to credit you. It is the ability to remain silent when the ego desperately wants to prove its point. These moments are invisible to the world, but they are what transform you. One by one, they reshape the very fabric of your being. In ancient traditions, a student's progress was not measured by their ability to outperform others, but by the stillness in their heart, by the quality of their listening, and by their capacity to respond with grace under pressure. The outer performance was meaningless without this inner equanimity, because once you are no longer commanded by the reactive self, the self that avoids challenge, that grasps for praise, that clings to being right, then everything in your world begins to shift into place. You become less easily disturbed, more quietly focused. You become less needy and profoundly more free. The world ceases to pull your attention in 1,000 directions at once. You begin to move with purpose, speak with compassion, and choose from a place of clarity. This is not control. This is self-mastery. It does not arise in a single, thunderous moment. It is built from 1,000 tiny choices, where you meet your own self with unwavering presence. Over time, this becomes your power, not loud but unshakable. There is a rhythm that exists beneath the surface of all things, and it is revealed only when you cease to rush. In the wisdom traditions, powerful action is never separate from deep stillness. Awareness guides the hand. The breath powers the movement. What may appear from the outside as effort is, on the inside, a state of deep meditation. The body is in motion, but the mind remains deeply anchored. And when we choose to sit in silence, it is not an escape from life. It is not about becoming inert. It is a return to our true center. Sitting is not the opposite of action. It is the source of all clear, intentional action. In this quiet, you learn to observe thoughts as they appear. You witness feelings as they change. You see stories as they lose their power. In this way, stillness itself becomes the ultimate training. So many people live their lives in a divided state. They are peaceful only when circumstances are easy and become anxious the moment life presents a challenge. Or they are always busy, always producing, yet feel a sense of emptiness within. The path of wisdom asks for integration. It is not either or, it is both and. It is stillness in action and action born from stillness. This practice reveals itself in your daily existence. It is in walking down the street, not lost in a narrative, but present with the feeling of each step. It is in washing your hands, not with haste, but feeling the water with full awareness. It is in speaking, not from a place of reaction, but responding from a center of quiet clarity. The most ordinary moments of your life can become a living meditation. The purpose is not to eliminate chaos. Life will always contain tensions, unexpected events, and new demands. But when your mind is trained in both movement and stillness, you do not get broken by pressure. You learn to remain soft and steady, like bamboo in the wind, deeply rooted, yet flexible. True peace is discovered here, not by avoiding life, but by meeting it completely, with open senses, a steady breath, and an awareness that flows through your every action. Letting go sounds like a simple idea, until it is your turn to embody it. You can tell yourself a story is finished. You can whisper the words, "I am moving on." But if a part of you is still clinging to the narrative, to the sense of injustice, or to the version of yourself that felt wronged, then words alone will not be enough. The mind cannot release what the body still holds as truth. In a path of deep practice, letting go is not a mental choice. It is a physical discipline. You begin with pure awareness. You notice the tightness carried in your shoulders. You observe how the breath remains shallow, never reaching the belly. You see the thought that replays itself days after the event has passed. This simple act of noticing is the first step. It is the gateway to freedom. Then you introduce the breath, slow, conscious, rhythmic, like ocean waves washing over a stone, smoothing its edges. The breath communicates to the nervous system that it is finally safe to soften, that it is safe to feel and release. Without the breath, the mind remains a prisoner of its old patterns. But with the breath, a gentle melting begins to occur, and from there, you simply loosen the grip, not with force, not through striving, but in the same way you would open a clenched fist that you had forgotten was even tight. You cease trying to figure it out. You withdraw the energy of your attention from feeding the pain. And in that emerging softness, you may sense a deeper reality. None of it ever truly belonged to you. Not the compliments, not the criticisms, not even the identity you have built. These things are like the wind passing through the trees. You can witness them, you can feel them, you can learn from them, but you are not required to hold on to them. True letting go does not feel like you have lost something. It feels like profound relief, like finally setting down a heavy weight you were never intended to carry for so long. And the more you practice this, the lighter your entire being becomes. Not because life is less challenging, but because you no longer mistake the weight of a story for your own true self. Purpose is a concept that is often deeply misunderstood. People await its arrival like a miraculous event, some flash of insight, or a voice from the heavens that will declare, "This is your singular mission." But on the ancient paths of wisdom, it is not received in this way. Purpose is not something you find. It is something you build. It is built from one mindful step, one conscious choice, one small act of service repeated over time, especially when it feels like no one is there to witness it. In the deep quiet of the early morning, before the world begins its noise, there is a stillness that is almost tangible. There is no grand discussion of passion or destiny. There is the simple act of preparing for the day, the lighting of incense, the conscious bow of respect. These actions might seem mundane to an outside observer, but contained within them is profound devotion. Within them, purpose is taking shape like morning dew, quiet, gradual, and invisible to the hurried eye. Herein lies the secret. It is not the grandness of the task that bestows purpose upon you. It is the quality of presence that you bring to the task. It is the care, the attention, and the unwavering willingness to show up for your life. You do not wait until you feel worthy. Worthiness is a story. If your path is dictated by feelings, it will change with every mood and gust of wind. But if you live by your principles, by discipline, humility, and compassion, something far more solid begins to form beneath the surface. You will not always feel passionate. You will not always be certain of the next step. But if you continue to act from a place of clear intention, a sense of purpose will naturally arise from your actions, like warmth rising from a simple cup of tea. It will not be loud or dramatic, but it will be steady. And one day you will look back, and you will see that your path did not suddenly appear before you. You will see that you carved it yourself with your presence, your choices, and your attention. Not in the bright lights, but in the profound stillness. The world that you perceive around you is a direct reflection of the world that you cultivate within. This does not happen all at once. It does not happen with force. It unfolds step by step, breath by breath. As your own awareness begins to deepen, the choices you make will naturally shift. As your inner energy becomes more settled, your sense of direction clarifies. And with time, your life will begin to respond in kind. This is not an invitation to urgency or rush. It is an invitation to presence, to a profound stillness, and to simple, consistent actions performed with awareness. This is how true transformation always begins. Not in a single, momentous day, but in the way that you meet each ordinary day. If you have been searching for a signal or a sign, perhaps this is it. Not because of any external meaning, but because you are now ready to truly listen. In the days ahead, allow your focus to turn gently inward. Bring clarity to your space. Take a few moments to sit in silence. Practice training the mind and walk your chosen path with grounded feet. The great change you are waiting for is not coming from the outside. It is already and always unfolding from within you. Thank you for walking this path of awareness with us. If this reflection has served your journey, your presence here helps our collective growth. We welcome you to continue the practice with us. Until we meet again, remain rooted and remain aware.